my loves, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jess from BehatiLife. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is your weekly astro and intuitive forecast for the week of July 2nd. Now, it's very interesting because when I pulled the chart for this week ahead, there was some information that came through that I feel is going to be like a light at the end of the tunnel. In fact, that was kind of the words that were coming through. Things like elevation, a gate swinging open, and still the energy of the lotus is around us. For those of you guys who are old friends to the channel, you know I've been mentioning the energy of the lotus and this effortless unfolding that's been happening around us. I still see that for this week. Now, when I was in my live chat on Mondays, and for those of you guys that don't know, I do a live chat on Monday, every Monday at 7 p.m. on my Instagram, where we talk about the week ahead. So I reminded you that we've been mentioning the fact that there is lotus energy that has been revealing itself, and for some of you, it's what we're seeing is the energy change, an energy shifting that has been happening that in some ways is a little under the radar. Now, I did warn you that it almost feels like you may or may not see the impact of what is to come and what is happening right now this week. And I really want to be clear and precise when I say that, because I don't want to get your expectations up and get them high, and then you feel disappointed come Saturday and Sunday and say, well, Jess, I didn't see this manifest itself. The reason why this is because when intuitives, an astrologer, when we're working with our intuition, what we're working with in a lot of ways is energy. So energy, for the most part, does not really have a time limit to it or a time restriction. And it's unless that comes through, unless there's a specific time frame that comes through. And also keep in mind that when I'm doing these chart readings, I'm doing them for a general audience. So I'm not looking at your specific chart. I'm looking at the chart of the moment and what is around and what's in the cosmos. And I'm also opening myself up to receive messages so that I can see outside of just the chart. So I'm not restricted to just a chart reading, that I'm able to work with my intuition and any messages that come through my guides, through my angels, and through divine source. So I do want to be very clear that what I mentioned in the live chat and what I'm seeing in the chart for this week is almost what the image that came through was this gate that kind of swings open, and there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Now, keep in mind that Mars is currently retrograde, Neptune is retrograde, Pluto is retrograde, Saturn is retrograde, Jupiter is retrograde, but will go direct on the 10th. And I'm thinking that because most of these planets are retrograde, and we always have to listen to the cosmos. We always have to listen to what the planets are telling us, because they're showing you how to work your magic, how to work the energy for your highest and greatest good to maximize the benefit. They'll show you how to tweak certain things so that you're able to receive certain things, or things to kind of avoid, or things to look out for. So if you're working in alignment with the planets, then you should have no issue. You shouldn't feel too uncomfortable, even as these planets are retrograde. And if you'd like me to make a video about all of the planets, the blessing and all the planets as they're retrograde, then give me a thumbs up or leave it down in the comments below. I'm more than happy to do that for you. But I do have videos up about Pluto retrograde, Saturn retrograde, and Mars retrograde, and Neptune and Jupiter. So you can see those on the YouTube channel. But Mars currently being retrograde is telling you, Mars is our action, our drive, our ambition, our motivation. When Mars is retrograde, it's telling you to take your foot off the gas. Now, like I said in my live chat, you taking your foot off the gas does not mean that you are also hitting the brake. So you have to think, the months up until this point, you have momentum that has built up. You have momentum that has gained. And because of that, you can take your foot off the gas, and the universe is telling you to take your foot off the gas because you don't want to pick up too much speed and you don't want to lose control. You have physically, mentally, and set the intention and done all that you can, and now it's important for you to allow your spiritual self and also your spiritual guides in the universe to redirect you to where it is that you need to be. You can't be redirected if you're constantly trying to navigate. So that's what Mars retrograde, Pluto retrograde, and Saturn retrograde, but specifically Mars, is teaching you and showing you what to do and how to do it. So Again, I think because, and I'm thinking I haven't gotten clear confirmation. I want to be honest with you guys. I'm not going to say anything in black and white or set anything in stone unless I have clear confirmation that this is exactly why and exactly what's going on. But I have not gotten clear confirmation, but I'm thinking that, and I am being nudged to look towards the fact that Jupiter is currently retrograde now, but on the 10th, which is early next week, is going to move direct finally. So Jupiter being retrograde is not a bad thing at all. Again, I will link the video down below telling you how and why Jupiter retrograde is actually good. But it is also something to get excited for when Jupiter goes direct, because it really will swing the gate open. And that's what I saw. That was the image that I saw when I was pulling the chart and working with my intuition. I saw this gate swing open and a focus on a light at the end of the tunnel. So with that, there were a few words that came through this week, which makes a lot of sense because I want to do dates as well as share intuitive messages with you guys that came through as I was pulling the chart. Number one, the word elevation came through. And what I see and what I feel is people moving to the next level of light and people moving into the next space of release, and like the challenges that you have gone through and the things that you've experienced, they are pushing you into a new space of abundance, of receiving, and kind of like shedding of old skins. Thank goodness, because I feel when I'm looking at the chart that that's a direct nod towards Pluto that's retrograde, Saturn retrograde, Neptune retrograde, and even Jupiter retrograde, which was working to restructure and realign you. So if you were allowing yourself to let go and to kind of be molded, then you walk out of this a better person. And we're still learning different lessons. We're still changing. We're still tweaking. And you can expect that at least until September. But what I see is, for real, this week, there's a lightening of the energy, meaning that the energy changes from being heavy and dense to a little lighter, a little more playful, a little bit more I don't want to say positive, but it just feels different. It feels like I can see a change. I can see something is going to happen here, and that you have every right to get excited about it. So I definitely see that, and I also see the connection of healing. Interestingly enough, I woke up this morning and I actually felt that shift already. I woke up this morning, and I'm normally a positive person, but I could feel my back and my shoulders relaxing. I could feel my spirit felt lighter, and it made a lot of sense because of what I shared with my tribe on Monday night, and then Tuesday morning I wake up and I felt it myself. So I'm wondering if you guys are feeling that. The one thing also that came through, and okay, so let me take a step back. So on the 5th, the sun sitting in the sign of Cancer is highly emotional, highly intuitive, and wants you to focus on receiving and also to pay attention to your feelings and your emotions. This is because when your feelings get triggered and when you are aware of your feelings and when you're aware of what you want and what's going on around you, you can determine and decipher, okay, I don't need to be here, or this is where I should be, all because you're following your intuition and you're following your inner compass. So what I see is an opportunity on the 5th kind of pushing its way through. I don't know if this is coming through a conversation that you have to have, or someone approaching you with news, or something that you, I don't want to say fight for, but it almost seems like a little bit of tension, or a little bit of like polishing, like two stones kind of rubbing themselves together in order to create an opportunity. And what I mean by that is that yes, it's true that there, you know, positive news can come in, but it's also very possible that you may have to butt heads with someone or work a little harder to get on the same wavelength in order to understand where someone is coming from, or what they want, what their expectations are. So get over that first hump, and then something good comes from it. If it's not that, on the 5th and the 4th and the 6th and the 7th, then what I see is an opportunity, which is positive, coming through, or something good. Maybe it's just a really awesome day. The 5th feels like a really awesome day, but at the same time, you may have had a disagreement or an argument somewhere else, or you know, some type of interesting news that comes in that makes you feel disappointed or frustrated, but still there's this good aspect here that's working with you and working for you. So mark your calendars for the 5th. The 5th across the board looks like to be an absolutely glowing, positive day. Also because the sun is going to be trine Neptune. Neptune is all about illusion and fantasy, and when it's retrograde, which it is now, it's kind of working to peel back the veil a little bit so that you can see things a bit more clearer. But when the sun comes in and shows you and reveals to you, and you feel certain things, remember our intuition, when that comes in and it reveals itself to you and becomes clear, and your intuition is sharp because you're not forcing and pushing, and you're not exhausting yourself, so you're allowing yourself to get into a space of receiving and nurturing your body so that your physical body is able to be strong enough to even receive intuitive guidance. When that comes in, you know the next steps, they feel right, they feel effortless. And one of the things that came through, and that I want to connect to the fact that Mercury is going to be sitting directly opposite of Mars, and this is what it is that I saw when it comes to this conflict and this discussion, or this message, that it's like a battling of the heads, or a battling of the rams. Mercury is sitting in the sign of Leo and is very, very expressive in the sign of Leo. It needs to get its voice heard. It needs to be, to share. It's moving from the heart, it's talking from the heart. But Mars is currently retrograde. So keep in mind that there are people who have frustration. There are people who are you know, irritated or irritable, or have things that have been bothering them or been sitting dormant that are kind of revealing themselves because Mars is triggering that. So Mars sitting directly opposite Mercury can create that trigger point. If that truly is the case, then this is the intuitive message for you, because this is what came through for me. And it said anger, rage, passion, all of these things are actually connected to the divine and highly spiritual. As spiritual workers and as spiritual people and as human beings who, I know my tribe, every day you strive to be your highest and greatest self. Every single day, I know you do. But our community and the internet takes every opportunity that it can to tell you to have peace and love, to do everything in love and light and positivity. So it has a hard time understanding that rage and anger and frustration and this passion that you have, if it's not channeled into a creative outlet, that it's a negative thing. This is not the case at all. Anger, rage, frustration, all of these things are actually given to you by the divine to help you to understand when a boundary is crossed and when you need to rise up and protect. Just like the thunder is going right now, which I am so tempted to stop this video and just sit next to the window and enjoy this storm that's rolling in, because I love storms. I have a hard time concentrating when it's storming out. But anyways, yeah, especially when we're working with feminine energy, we know that anger and rage is connected to masculine, but since the majority of my followers and the majority of my tribe are women, I mean, there's 84% of you guys that are women. This is our goddess circle. The whole world tells us that as women and as goddesses that we're not allowed to be angry, or we can only be angry for a small amount of time, or anger is negative, or anger is bad. That is not the case. Our anger comes from a place deep, deep within us. Just like how last week I was talking about sexual energy and how that energy gets repressed, and how as a feminine goddess, it's kind of taboo for us to be sexy or for us to work with that sexual energy. Anger comes from almost the same spot. Pretty much the same spot, and it all comes from the spot of passion. So if you're being triggered, if a boundary is crossed, it is for you to allow yourself to express your anger, to express your frustration, and to let it be known. When Mars and Mercury oppose themselves, the whole world, even famous astrologers are going to tell you to watch yourself, to watch your tongue. I can tell you right now that if there is something that you need to say or something that has been bothering you for a while, 9 times out of 10, it's probably going to provoke you on this day or the days around it. And what I don't want you to do is to look at that and to feel bad and to hide your voice and to diminish your anger. What ends up, or God forbid, you try to do passive aggressive ways of expressing your anger. Passive aggression is not the way. Trust me, it diminishes the throat chakra, it diminishes the root chakra, it diminishes the sacral and the heart chakra. And when those chakras are unaligned, it affects everything else. So if you have something that you need to say, activate it. When I was on Astro live chat on Monday, people asked me, Jess, what do I do if there's a blockage in my throat chakra? I said, the first thing you say is use the word fuck. That means fuck you, fuck that, fuck this, I'm fucking out of here. And why that is because many people, many healers will tell you that in order to release the blockage outside of energy healing, that you have to talk about your feelings, you have to communicate your feelings, you have to say what is on your heart. But for a lot of people to even get to that level, it's very hard. And that's why it's very important, and me as a healer, to share this message with you that it is okay to maybe not talk about everything right away, to maybe just say a nice fuck this. And that activates the third chakra. Do you get chills sometimes when you say, fuck this? Fuck that, fuck that, fuck that. I'm not fucking doing that. I know. You guys are like, oh my God, Jess, watch your mouth. No, fuck that. Yeah, no, my third chakra is very active, and it's very, I don't really hold back, and my chakras are good, my chakras are aligned. There's this little test that you can do with a pendulum too in order to see how your chakras are rotating, and mine always comes up nice. Sometimes my root chakra is, gets a little wonky, but that's because I end up working so hard that I forget to actually take care of myself. But that's my own battle. That's my own bridge to cross. But when it comes to speaking your mind, this is the week to do it. And that is the way for those of you guys that have that question about the blockages. If you would like me to do a video about how to release blocked up and stuffed up energy with the chakras, I'm more than happy to do that as well, because my perspective on it and my take on healing is different, and it's very simple, but it's also very powerful, and it's things that have come to me on my own time through my guides, and I'm more than happy to share that information with you guys. So I definitely see that. On the 8th is when Sun and Neptune are going to be trying each other. I love that, and it's funny to me because this was the 3rd intuitive message that came through for us, and it was the focus on wealth and the focus on abundance and what that means for you and what that can do for you. So, and I'm thinking that it's connected to the Sun and Neptune, because when I'm looking at the chart, what I see is Neptune sitting in the sign of Pisces, which is taking so many people to the next level within their life and wanting them to be divinely connected to their purpose, their divine purpose. The whole world can tell you that's not realistic. The whole world can tell you that's not going to work out. But within you is a higher purpose, a greater good that you are destined, and you must work to build, and you must trust. You must take steps of faith. You must invest in yourself, and that is one of the reasons. That's why Neptune is sitting in the sign of Pisces. And what I see here is a path opening. Remember, I saw the gate opening, so there is that message. But I also see wealth and abundance, and what I see is wealth meaning not just monetary abundance, which is important because that's connected to the root chakra, so it's important that you are receiving wealth into your life. But more than that, you want to connect with your purpose. You want to connect to the reason for why you're here. And Neptune sitting in the sign of Pisces is going to help you to do that. Sun represents your ego. This is why you are here. Sun trine Neptune, the two of them come together and says, aha, this is it. This is why. And the planets, the way that they're aligned now, they're working to reveal a lot of stuff, even though the rest of the world is telling you that retrogrades are negative and bad. I am telling you that that is not the case, that there is opportunity here for you if you're open and willing to receive it and you want to hear it. If you want to hear it, then set the time and the intention out, and set the intention so that the universe, the angels, your guides are like, okay, this is what she's asking for, so let's go ahead and give it to her or him. So I really want you guys to connect with what makes you light up. What makes you be passionate? What is your bliss? When you're working this and when you are doing this, you know that it's for your highest and greatest good. You know that it feels good. You know you're on the right track. I have a friend that is a huge advocate, and every day he goes in, he does his work, but he advocates, and he's talking about sexual health. He's connecting people in the community to resources, and he just lights up. He can do it easy and effortless, and he lives an amazing life. And also he has passions on the side that he does, and it creates this amazing bliss around him where he's just happily doing what it is that he loves, and he does it well. And this is because he is in alignment with his soul's purpose. He is meant to be an advocate. If you look at his chart, it's written all over his chart. He's meant to connect people, and also he's an artist. He's meant to express. So through his artistic expression, he shares that with the people that he works with as he's advocating for him. As he's advocating for them. That's what I want for every single one of you, is to connect with that divine purpose. And what I see is also on the 8th, if you're wondering and worrying about what your soul purpose is, the 8th has the opportunity and the potential to really give you some strong clues. But of course, keep in mind that this is a general reading. So for some of you guys, the 8th will show a connection with friends. I mean, most of us are going to be celebrating, a lot of us are going to be celebrating 4th of July. For those of you guys that are in the United States, although I have many viewers that are international. But we're going to be out and about, going to barbecues, watching fireworks, skateboarding. I don't know, however you want to celebrate the 4th of July. But I definitely see the potential for having fun and spending time with friends and good vibes, but it depends on your chart. For others, this could be a break in your health. For others, it could be a break in their career. Maybe lifestyle. I mean, the sky's the limit, and I can't see your exact chart. If you want to book a reading with me, you can do that. The links are down below for that. But for the most part, you guys, that is it in a nutshell. That's what I see for this week. It looks to be a very positive one. The gates are swinging open. You may not see it and feel it now, but trust me, as your intuitive, as your favorite intuitive and your astrologer, I can tell you that there's something literally on the horizon, and what I can see is that it's starting next week, but I feel it and I see it now in this week. So I don't know about you, but I'm excited. Make sure that you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, because as we go along, we'll continue to talk about it. And if you are called to it, make sure that you join us on Mondays at 7 p.m. on Instagram. I go live and I chit chat with every single one of you. Okay, so I love you, and thank you so much for tuning in, for watching, and sending your love and your comments. Yes, I read them all, and you guys are amazing. You guys are amazing. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.